No matter where you live, you are most likely being impacted in some way by the effects of COVID-19. Life as we knew it has been put on hold to help reduce the spread of the virus. While we have been given a lot of advice by medical experts about social distancing and sanitation practices, I thought it would be useful to go over some tips to help foster mental resiliency during this unusual period. As the title of the video suggests, these tips are derived from Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has helped many people, especially myself, remain optimistic in the face of adversity. Though some would consider these common sense practices, we find that they bear repeating during times like these. Tip number 1. Focus on what is completely in your control. The Roman philosopher Epictetus said that, quote, "Of all existing things, some are in our power and others are not in our power. In our power are thought, impulse, will to get and will to avoid, and, in a word, everything which is our own doing. Things not in our power include the body, property, reputation, office, and, in a word, everything which is not our own doing," and unquote. The Stoics noticed how obsessive worrying is often a result of stressing over an external outcome that has not happened yet. Instead, we should use our mental energy on what is under our complete control. For those things that are not under our complete control, it isn't that we stop caring about them, but rather that we come to a deep understanding that we cannot guarantee that these things will turn out the way we wish them to. This idea is central to the Stoic teaching known as the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control is all about making the best use of what is in our power and taking the rest as it happens. Whether we contract the coronavirus is out of our control. Instead, we should focus on following the proper mandates that have been given to us by the Global Healthcare Organization on a daily basis. We should also stay informed about evolving government protocol. However, if we start obsessing over hypotheticals, like whether our last visit to the grocery store will lead to a diagnosis of COVID-19, we risk the creation and spiraling of negative thoughts which will prevent us from thinking clearly and rationally. Furthermore, you could choose exactly how you put all this newfound time on your hands to use. You could keep watching the bad news on repeat, or you could start working on that business you've always wanted to start. The choice is yours. Tip number 2. Reframe seemingly negative situations. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius argued that, quote, "Our life is what our thoughts make it," and unquote. Marcus was emphasizing that the words we use to describe something affects how we feel about it. Evaluating circumstances that happen using strong words, such as horrible and stupid, can fire up our emotions in a vicious cycle. Instead of catastrophizing things, we must stick to the facts as accurately and objectively as possible when describing an event. During this particular moment in history, don't go about telling yourself and others how bad of a situation we're in and that nothing positive can come out of this. Instead, try to make the best of it. Think of your time in self-isolation as an opportunity to do something productive, something that'll help you grow as a person. Read the books that you have always wanted to get to, journal every day, make time for exercise, and explore hobbies that you have always wanted to try incorporating into your schedule. In short, don't think of this next while as a time wasted, but as a unique opportunity that could lead to personal growth. Tip number 3. Take an outside view. Epictetus said that, quote, "When your own cup is broken, you ought to behave in the same way as when your neighbor's cup was broken. Apply the same principle to higher matters," and unquote. This analogy is trying to show that when we go through misfortune, we should imagine as if the same thing happened to a friend and consider the advice we would provide him or her. Reminding ourselves that difficulties happen to everyone is comforting and could help us to avoid catastrophizing the hardships we are facing. There is something unique with regards to the circumstances we are facing in that everyone is going through this period of self-isolation together, including your favorite athletes, actors, and writers. Think of what you would tell a young child, maybe your own, to keep them calm during this time, and then take your own advice. After all, you probably would not give it if you believe there is no hint of truth within it. As well, take this time to read and learn more about inspirational stories of those who survived hardships like wars and other pandemics. These stories will give you a sense of perspective and help you realize that, though the situation is different and unique in its own way, the world will go back to normal. Tip number 4. Practice voluntary discomfort. Musonius Rufus, another Roman Stoic, said that, quote, "We use the training common to both soul and body when we discipline ourselves to cold, heat, thirst, hunger, meager ration, hard beds, avoidance of pleasures, and patience under suffering. For by these things and others like them the body is strengthened and becomes capable of enduring hardships, sturdy and ready for any tasks. The soul too is strengthened since it is trained for courage by patience under hardship and for self-control by abstinence from pleasures." End unquote. Musonius is saying here that periodically experiencing discomfort is actually a good thing and could help build character. After all, if all we know is comfort, we might be traumatized when we are forced to experience major pain or discomfort down the road, as we someday almost certainly will. Therefore, think of this experience in self-isolation as a Stoic test, one that will eventually end but will nonetheless allow us to develop patience and restraint. On the other hand, if you are stressed because you feel that you are not accomplishing anything since you cannot leave your house, try undertaking small acts of voluntary discomfort, such as fasting, eating simple meals, avoiding sweets, or getting up earlier than you have to. Doing one of these things will allow you to feel that you are pushing yourself and accomplishing something, even though our options are more limited right now. Tip number 5. Memento mori. Remember that you are mortal. The Roman Stoic Seneca said to, quote, "Concentrate your thoughts on this one thing, not to fear the name of death. Through long reflection, make death one of your close acquaintances, so that, if the situation arises, you are able even to go out and meet it." End unquote. Seneca is saying here that, though it may feel weird to do so, contemplating our own death is actually a good thing to undertake regularly. By reflecting on death, we could stop taking things for granted and be more aware that we have limited time on this earth. In this way, petty concerns tend to melt away and, as a result, our best self is more likely to shine through. While we may feel limited in what we could do during this time, we should still be grateful for waking up in the morning and being able to live another day. Each day is a gift, even if we are restricted in where we could go. Therefore, we should still be striving towards our goals and reaching our potential, since we do not know how much time we have on this earth. Reuben "Hurricane" Carter, a boxer from the 1960s, lived by this idea. After being convicted for a crime he did not commit and being sentenced to jail, Carter did not look at this time he would spend behind bars as a waste. He viewed the time as an opportunity to read and reflect on his life so that, when the time came, he would leave prison an improved man. At this time, we should adapt the same mindset and continue to work towards our ideal self. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and hit the subscribe button for more content about self-development and Stoicism. Also, feel free to add some more tips below in the comments section that could help others develop mental resiliency during this time. Are there philosophers that you turn to when faced with obstacles? Tell us about them, and any other topics you are interested in us addressing in future videos. Until next time, stay safe and remember that this too shall pass.